The presidential debate starts right here.
Corruption has become a new normal, and Ghanaians have become numb to the growing scandals that continue to be exposed daily. Game, Glovo, Nivea, Big Pen, Dark and Lovely have all shut down. Unilever has relocated its tea production to Nigeria, and amid all this, our public debts now hit a staggering 658.6 billion Ghana cedis. But we cannot despair over the poor quality of governance that has served us in the last 7.5 years. I wish to use this opportunity to appeal to you, captains of industry and the investor community, to tarry a bit more. Please don't leave our country. It is said that the darkest hour is before the dawn. The beauty of our democracy is that it affords us the opportunity to change our current trajectory. You can rest assured that a new NDC administration will work with you to create a conducive environment for businesses to thrive. Together, we'll expand your businesses to create more opportunities for our increasingly youthful population. Together, we'll recapture our pride of place as West Africa's favorite destination for investment. The convergence of economic diversification and artificial intelligence presents us with a unique opportunity to drive sustainable growth and prosperity for our dear country, Ghana. The number one priority will be stabilizing the economy and restoring a stable currency. We will launch an urgent economic recovery and fiscal consolidation plan following a national economic dialogue which we intend to hold within 100 days of assumption of office. We'll do this by pruning the huge size of government, reducing government expenditure, preventing waste and corruption, and boosting revenues by expanding the tax net. We'll simplify the value-added tax and streamline its collection. We'll abolish the e-levy and some taxes that have become a burden on businesses and households, and will not burden you with endless tax orders and harass you with IOCO. We'll continue digitalizing our revenue collection and payment systems. By 2028, we aim to phase out cash as a form of payment for all government services. We'll also entrench the use of POS devices in transactions to make tax and levy collection more transparent. Our economy has long been reliant on a few key sectors, such as gold, cocoa, and more recently, oil. And this is what is popularly called the Gagisberg economy. Unfortunately, under this administration, even cocoa, which has been the bulwark of our economy, which at the end of 2016, brought in almost $2 billion in the loan syndication, could barely manage $8 million last year. Oil volumes are down, and these have been 8 wasted years in the upstream petroleum sector with no significant development in our oil prospects. We'll work with urgency to restore our cocoa production to its former glory, to improve forex flows into our economy. We'll accelerate drilling and production of oil and gas in our offshore and onshore concessions and increase the availability of natural gas for electricity production and LPG for domestic use. We'll also streamline our mineral production and mineral exports to achieve the full benefit of this endowment for our country. While these traditional sectors are important, we must expand and invest in new areas offering opportunities for sustainable growth. And these include agriculture, agribusiness, tourism, light industry, manufacturing, and the creative industries. Diversing our economic base can lead to more job opportunities, poverty reduction, and a stronger economy, especially within the context of the 24-hour economic policy. This diversification is critical for a country with a growing youth population by absorbing more labor and helping reduce unemployment and underemployment. Agriculture and agro-processing will receive urgent priority. Our farmer service centers, which will be managed by well-trained private sector players on a franchise, will bring agricultural mechanization services to the doorsteps of our farmers. Farmers registered with these centers will receive improved seeds, fertilizer, mechanization services, and extension advice for their farming activities. Working with our multilateral partners and the Ghana Exim Bank, we shall set up special agro-industrial processing zones in the 16 regions to add value to the crops for which each of these regions has a comparative advantage. We'll give incentives to agro-processing giants to do backward integration of their industries into the national agricultural value chain, and eventually phase out the import of strategic products that they currently import as raw materials. Fintechs working in the agricultural and agribusiness space will be used as conduits for providing targeted microcredits for farmers, and will also revive Dr. Ndum's concept of micro-GN banks to boost the rural economy. Your theme underscores the urgency and importance of charting a strategic path forward. Economic diversification is imperative for reducing dependence on traditional industries and building resilience against external shocks. Collaboration between the private and public sector is indispensable in this endeavor, and we must work together, government, policymakers, and other stakeholders, to create an enabling environment for innovation and entrepreneurship. Through initiatives like the annual Presidential CEO Dialogue, and that means that the President will meet with the CEO group once every year, we'll foster open communication, identify common challenges, and develop actionable strategies to unlock the full potential of economic diversification, technology, and AI transformation. I'm deeply committed to fostering business growth and economic prosperity in Ghana. And that is why I've announced that I'll chair an accelerated export development program, which will work to expand our exports and take full advantage of the expanded market access afforded by the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme and the African Continental Free Trade Area. Under this program, existing companies in Ghana will be engaged to modernize their operations and bolster productivity, and thereby stimulating growth in adjacent sectors by incubating new enterprises within Ghana. Ghana's economic terrain is evolving rapidly, necessitating streamlined processes, enhanced access to information, and augmented support services for domestic and foreign businesses. Through a centralized platform, companies like Nestle or Olam Ghana will no longer need to engage with multiple government ministries to resolve challenges facing them. By creating an environment conducive to business, we aim to attract foreign investment, invigorate local entrepreneurship, and propel sustainable economic growth. Additionally, this centralized platform will foster collaboration between multinational corporations, small and medium enterprises, and innovative startups, augmenting Ghana's economic competitiveness and its role as a regional trading hub. Our foreign missions will establish trade and business innovation desks to position Ghana as a business hub. They will thereby assist multinationals and local companies in achieving growth while advocating for the expansion, enhancement, and diversification of local industries. We will revive the famous Gateway program to reposition Ghana as a gateway for African investment. Ghanaian registered businesses will be given priority in government procurements. We want Ghanaian business people to dominate the economy. Africa boasts the world's youngest population, with 70% of sub-Saharan Africans under the age of 30. If harnessed effectively, this presents a significant opportunity for economic growth. Our young people are our most valuable assets. It should be of concern to us, in addition to unemployment and lack of skills training, that Ghana is ranked 99 out of 123 countries in the 2023 Global Innovation Index. This is unacceptable and highlights the urgent need to diversify our economy and establish the necessary structures and programs to enhance Ghana's innovation ecosystem. The demand for skilled talent is unprecedented. To ensure Ghana's competitiveness and adaptability to emerging trends, we are committed to upscaling the skills of our workforce across diverse fields such as technology, engineering, craftsmanship, seafaring, manufacturing, healthcare, and renewable energy. Leveraging insights from successful global models, we will forge strategic partnerships with skill development agencies and educational institutions to offer targeted training programs and apprenticeships to our youth. Again, by centralizing collaboration among various tech hubs, educational institutions and centers, we aim to equip our workforce with the requisite skills to thrive in a digital economy, unlocking new opportunities for economic growth and job creation. Emphasizing vocational and technical training alongside quality higher education is essential, and we're determined to invest in this human resource base, which will be critical to Ghana's industrial agenda. We'll train our artisans, technicians, and professionals to a world-class standard and enter into agreements with other countries to export Ghanaian expertise abroad on fixed short to medium-term contracts. Achieving these goals will require investing heavily in infrastructural development, improving transportation, energy, and telecommunications, which will help lower transaction costs, increase productivity, and enhance the competitiveness of our efforts. We will draw up a priority investment program, PIP, to cover critical infrastructure projects in the roads, bridges, dams, railways, aviation, telecommunications sectors, and also manufacturing, healthcare, education, power, water and sanitation, agriculture, and agribusiness and tourism sectors. This we expect to be implemented under a 5-year, 10 billion Big Push infrastructure program. By this, we intend to invest $2 billion each year in priority infrastructural projects to boost economic growth and prosperity. AI has the potential to revolutionize every sector of our economy, from healthcare to agriculture, from finance to education to tourism, environmental protection. It will enhance efficiency, drive innovation, and create new opportunities for business. And this is why, as I said last week at my talk at the University of Energy and Natural Resources, we intend to use cutting-edge technology, including geofencing, to supervise the small-scale mining sector. Artificial intelligence technology will help us analyze information gathered thereby to monitor what is happening in districts that host mining activities. The NDC is on record as having invested significantly in Ghana's digital infrastructure during our tenure in office, including during my time as president. And yet there remains a substantial digital divide in Ghana. Only an estimated 34 to 40% of rural individuals have internet access, compared to between 59 and 66% of urban dwellers. Men are more likely to own phones with internet access than women at 63%, while women is at 49%. Access to computers is also low, with only 20% of Ghanaians reportedly owning one. To address these issues, we must and are committed to bridging the digital divide, to harness technology and power AI for the benefit of our economy and people. This will help bridge digital divides by offering solutions tailored to local contexts. For example, AI-driven educational tools can be used in remote areas with limited access to quality education. AI can support local language and dialects, making digital content more accessible to diverse populations. AI can help us in boosting our agricultural and agribusiness potentials. And a few examples. Meta has already activated their AI on the search engine, and sometimes it can be confusing. My phone, my wife is saved as Lord. She's Lordina, you all know that. She's saved as Lord. And so sometimes when I'm just trying to pull up a number and send up a text, Meta's AI says, Lord is a title of nobility or respect. And the next time I did it, it says, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. That's on the lighter side. And my brother recently procured an Audi car, the most advanced you can find. It drives by itself, it knows where the speed cameras are, it slows down by itself, it stops, it starts by itself. And sometimes it eavesdrops on us when we're talking. It will respond to something we're talking about and ask us to be more specific. And he can set it and it will drive within its lane and follow all the road rules. And so I was telling him, soon I wouldn't need him as a driver. And we're almost there, driverless cars. And so all these are advancing so quickly. We'll review our digitalization policy in order to expand it to cater for AI. We'll speed up the rollout of 5G so that we can take full advantage of what AI has to offer. As leader of the NDC, my government's key focus will be reigniting businesses and harnessing their growth potential. We'll prioritize the need of Ghanaian businesses, ensuring that they have the tools and opportunities to thrive and succeed and contribute meaningfully to Ghana's prosperity. This is a commitment I pledge to uphold. Introducing a 24-hour economy will bring numerous benefits and significantly contribute to our country's forward progress. Extending business hours and maximizing resource utilization can increase economic activity and our GDP. More businesses operating around the clock will lead to more transactions, higher sales volumes, and increased productivity, all of which will contribute to our economic growth. Of course, extending business hours will create a need for additional shifts, which will result in more employment opportunities for our young people. This will significantly reduce unemployment and underemployment, providing jobs for those who may struggle to find work during traditional hours, such as students, part-time workers, and those with family commitments. Extending the operating hours of public services such as transportation, healthcare, and emergency services will significantly enhance people's quality of life. It provides greater convenience and accessibility, ensuring that essential services are available when needed, regardless of the time of day. Again, a 24-hour economy will enhance safety and security by ensuring that our streets and public places are alive and active and well lit throughout the night. Increased economic activity can also deter criminal behavior, as more people and security personnel will be around, contributing to a safer environment. Extended business hours also provide more opportunity for innovation and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs can experiment with new business models and services that cater to nighttime economies, such as late-night delivery services, entertainment avenues, 24-hour retail stores, including 24-hour operation of fuel stations. This can be extended to garbage collection, sanitation activities, and so on and so forth. The 24-hour economic model will help us increase production and productivity and place us in a better place to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. A conducive regulatory environment drives innovation, investment, and entrepreneurship. We aim to establish an open and transparent regulatory framework inspired by global best practices that promote economic diversification. Through ongoing dialogue with industry leaders, trade associations, and regulatory agencies, we will ensure that regulations are aligned with industry's needs, enabling businesses to thrive in a dynamic and evolving market environment. We will urgently ensure that regulation does not become an obstacle to development of business. As we lead Ghana into a new era of growth and innovation, it is vital that we navigate the regulatory landscape with precision and foresight. Conflicting or disjointed regulatory requirements can unnecessarily burden industries, while regulatory gaps can leave significant risks unaddressed. And our experience with regulation in this country is used like a tool or a whip to hit the industry that is supposed to regulate on the head. It should rather be a facilitator. When I met the fintech community 2 months ago, they said, look, we can survive by ourselves. All we need is for you to put the create the right regulatory environment that does not hobble us and stop us in what we do. Inconsistencies in regulation pose a direct threat to innovation and competition, potentially driving smaller enterprises out of the market. Our strategy hinges on optimizing existing regulatory frameworks, maximizing their advantages while intervening judiciously to tackle uncertainties and voids in regulation. This will yield an environment that champions innovation and one that's flexible and forward-looking, reinforced by robust mechanisms to ensure the integrity of emerging industries and technologies. Our journey as a people towards economic diversification and transformation requires collaboration between government, the private sector, and academia. We must engender an environment that encourages innovation and supports entrepreneurship. This means providing access to capital, investing in research and development, and creating the right framework that balances innovation with protection. Ladies and gentlemen, captains of industry, in conclusion, the path forward is clear. CEOs can play a pivotal role in reigniting business and economic growth in Ghana by addressing the imperatives of providing world-class business support, upscaling their workforce, and establish an open and transparent regulatory framework. Through collaboration, innovation, and strategic leadership, you as the corporate leaders and captains of industry will help chart a path forward towards a more prosperous, resilient, and inclusive future for all Ghanaians. Our goal is an economically diversified landscape characterized by a balanced mix of industries and markets producing various high-value added activities. And I believe that working together, we can build the Ghana we want. I thank you for your attention.
Submissions by my brother. I am ready and poised to respond to him boot for boot. I ask that he stays and listens to my responses as I have done for his. Ladies and gentlemen, it's official. The presidential debate starts right here. Mr. Moderator, you have 12 minutes to wrap up, and then we hear from the Vice President.
Okay. Your Excellency, the Vice President, you are appropriately recognized. We proceed with our conversation. May I have your attention at the stage? So, Mr. Former President, you indicated the fact that you also would like to deal with the issue of
Mahama, ministers of state, members of parliament, captains of industry, and all participants in this annual CEO summit. It is really an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to share some remarks with you. This is a very important annual event, and I wish I was there personally, but I am currently in Toronto, and unfortunately I'm not able to be with you, but at least we are able to come digitally through Zoom, and thank you all very, very much. I would like to basically speak to the issues as far as how we get business reignited and all of that. But I think it's also very important to also be frontal as far as having listened to the former president talk about some of the things that are going on from his perspective. When you listen to him, somehow you may be forgiven for thinking he has just landed from Mars, because he has been a former president before. He has managed this country. He's been vice president before. And when he was managing this country, there was no global crisis. You didn't have COVID, you didn't have the Russia-Ukraine war. But at the end of the day, this economy that he was managing basically turned down. Unemployment was very high. We endured 4+ years of doom so. Agricultural productivity declined. GDP growth in agriculture was very, very low. Industrial growth, because of doing so, also collapsed. And they had to cancel teacher training allowances. They couldn't pay. They had to cancel nursing training allowances. They couldn't pay. They had a 3-month pay policy for teachers, for working for 3 years. They paid for 3 months. Chalk in school was a problem. Many parents were not able to educate their children because they couldn't afford senior high school education. Now they could not, even if you could not buy chalk for schools, you have free senior high school education. The investment in there was very low and all. So this was the background against which we came into government. And if you look at what we have done in the last 7 years, and we are now in our 8th year, it is very clear. If you look at all the routine things that governments do in the area of development, we have done much more and performed much better than this government. With all due respect, we have. If you look at the agricultural sector, for example, the growth rate in agriculture is twice what we have, even in the presence of this crisis. We are doing about a 6% average growth rate in agriculture over and he left us with about 2.something%. So it's the industry that doing better than what he left. So you're not talking about an economy that's collapsed, but that collapsed economy is performing better than your economy that you left us. We have created more jobs. 2.1 million jobs that any government in the fourth government. He was creating unemployment with doing so everything. We are creating jobs, 1.2 million jobs in the public sector, 975,000 jobs in the private sector. And all of this is data that we have put out for everyone. We've constructed more roads than any other government before. Done more railways, done more airports, built more public libraries than any other government before. Built more ports. We're in the process of building 150 port buildings, 80 helping to complete. More classrooms than India. We're building more hospitals throughout the Bawumia and other projects than any other government in the process. We built more fishermen's sites, 11 completed, more than any other government in the fourth. We've done more sanitation facilities. Increase the proportion of the population with access to sanitation facilities from 33% to 59%. And this is why you are not seeing cases of cholera as it used to be in the past, because there are 5,400 communities that are now open defecation free, declared. We built more sports facilities in the country than any other government in the Fourth Republic. When we came in, we had only 3 astrophones in Ghana. We have 150 plus now. We're building 10 multi-purpose sports stadiums, completed 6 of them, and the others will be completed soon. Completed the Bawumia Sports Stadium, which we use for the African Games in the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. So we've done so much in that area. Fiber optic cable network, the NCA license fiber optic cable network in Ghana since we've been in office. 93% of all of Ghana's NCA licensed fiber optic network has been put in place under our administration. Rural telephony, we inherited 120 sites. We've put in place almost 1,500 sites, and more are on board. So there is so much that we're doing across in terms of the normal routine development. And the ambulance service was collapsing. We've implemented the one constituency, one ambulance, and revived the national ambulance scheme. There was no vehicle for Zongo development. We've done Zongo development fund, and we were able to look at both of over 200 projects in the area of Zongo development across all the Zongos in the country. You look at our investment in technical and vocational education, over 6 billion Ghana cedis in the last 7 years, the highest investment in technical education by any government in the Fourth Republic. And we've made technical and vocational education also free in that context. You are seeing, in terms of our development authorities, major completion of projects, 1,609 projects completed under the Development Authority. Northern Development Authority has completed about 304 projects so far. And so we are not talking about guinea fowl projects or that, planting projects and so on. It's very, very tree planting projects that then, when they were planted. So we can talk about this economy that you say has not done well is doing better than you did when you were Your Excellency. And so you can see, and then we implemented free senior high school education. Now that is one major landmark policy that we have put in place, and that most people thought it wasn't going to be possible. In fact, the former president said if he had 2 billion Ghana cedis, he wouldn't invest in free senior high school education. But what we have, and the benefits are huge. You've seen an increase in enrollment in free senior high school education from 800,000 to 1.4 million, a 75% increase. And in the process, we have obtained gender parity. When we started free SHS, for every 100 boys in school, we had 68 girls. Today, for every 100 boys, we have 106 girls. And that enrollment increase has brought gender parity. But what is even more important is that if you look at the increase in enrollment into free SHS in Ghana, the highest increases have come from the 5 northern regions. So they constitute the highest ratios of enrollment in free SHS in Ghana, which is very good because the poorer societies, the poorer regions are getting more access. But what is even more important than this is that the quality has not dropped. We are seeing a major increase in quality through performance, and we have not been cheated, by the way. You've seen that the core 6 subject in WAS, and then I have not left the rest of the council, by the way. We are still part. The top core 6 subjects, the performance in 2015 pass rate was 41%. Today, the core 6 subjects, the pass rate is 64%. So we are seeing better performance as a result of this. So if this is what a collapsed economy is, then I don't know what this economy was in that regard, because in all of these metrics that are routine in the area of development, we are doing better than the economy that he was managing as president. Now, beyond this, as I said, one has to go beyond the routine because in getting the business economy to move and business sector to thrive, we need ideas, we need transformational ideas, we need to change our system. And this is what we have been doing over the last few years, also trying to change the system. And this is why digital transformation has been very important for us. You've seen us bringing in many digital reforms. We've insisted on the issuance of the national ID. We've done the digital ID, 17.6 million people plus have been issued with digital IDs. Today, even when a child is born and you take a child away, the child is given a digital ID number as well as a passport, a birth certificate number. And this is very, very important for us putting together or poor, regardless of where you live, whether you are even dead or alive, we can uniquely identify, and that takes away issues of cheating in age cheating, retirement, and so on, pension benefits, and so on, and bring some discipline. So you can't go and borrow money from a bank and suddenly go and change your ID anymore, because that is no longer. And then we've been able to use this to address corruption in the area of ghost workers. This is a very categorical way that we've addressed the ghost worker issue, because we are linking every worker to their fingerprints, the Ghana card. And because ghosts don't have fingerprints, when we did that, the ghosts pretty much disappeared because that is where it is. So we're able to clean up payroll in the National Service payroll, even the SNIT payroll. We got 19,000 people off the pension list. And also we control an account in general. And we are saving hundreds of millions of CDs as a result of the change that we brought in. Now, we didn't have an address system in Ghana. This was a problem for business, a problem for us generally. Now we've introduced a digital address system, which is working very, very well in Ghana. Every part of Ghana has a digital address. We've also then moved on to make sure we have financial inclusion. And this is why we introduced mobile money interoperability, not just between the telcos, but between the telcos and the banks. And so we've been able, and Ghana was the first country on the African continent to have mobile money interoperability. And as a result, we have the fastest growing mobile money market in Africa. When we came in, mobile money transactions were 78.5 billion. Today, mobile money transactions are 1.9 trillion. And Ghana today is the #1 country in the whole of Africa in terms of access to financial inclusion. #1 in Africa. And this is because we are doing, we've done a lot in the area of mobile money interoperability. And we are leading the continent in this area. So we've also moved very quickly to digitalize operations in many of our public services so that we can reduce corruption and increase efficiency. So if you look at the passport office, we digitalized the operations there, digitalized the operations at the ports with paperless ports, at the DVLA, implemented the motor insurance database. Today you can check motor insurance just by dialing a USSD code. Today you can buy motor insurance on your mobile phone without having to go and queue and do everything. We are digitalizing the births and deaths registry similarly across, and we are doing the Ghana.gov platform is a major policy that we implemented. You have about 1,517 MMDAs. And we have been able to onboard onto one platform, the Ghana.gov platform, 1,507 MMDAs. So 99% of all the MMDAs are now on the Ghana.gov platform. And you can go there and ask for a service, pay for a service for those who are receiving payments and so on. We're just left with 10 more, which we are hoping to get done before the end of this year, so that all the MMDAs will be on the Ghana.gov platform, and that protects leakages, because therefore you are not going to, under the Ghana.gov platform, you don't use cash to pay. So basically, maybe the former president wasn't informed. Basically, what he says he wants to achieve when he comes into office in 4 years has already been achieved pretty much, and so we are there, and we are proceeding. We digitalize the ECG process, and you can buy your credit for electricity without having to go to queue at ECG. And in the area of domestic revenue mobilization, through the Ghana card, increase in the proportion of people with tax identification numbers from 4% to 85%. For 60 years in Ghana, we didn't cross 4% of people with tax identification numbers. But by making the Ghana card number a tax identification number, we have now 85% of our population with tax identification numbers. Furthermore, we have linked the SNIT, NHIS, GLRA, payroll, DVLA, SIM card, bank account of people directly to the NIA database. And that is really something that is going to help us. And when we are talking about artificial intelligence and all of that, artificial intelligence can only work data exists. And so the integration of these databases that we're seeing across the country is very, very critical. in terms of what we're doing, digitalize the tax filing process. So even in the health sector, one of the things that we have done in the area of the e-health is to make sure that we network the hospitals and digitalize patients' records. We have so far completed the networking and digitalization of patient records of over 300 hospitals. All the teaching hospitals have been digitalized, all the regional hospitals have been networked and digitalized, all the district hospitals have been networked and digitalized. So if they refer you from Yendi Hospital to Kolebu Hospital, today you don't need to bring a folder to Kolebu. You just come with your ID, and when you put in your ID, all your medical records would appear. And so the issue of the loss of folders and so on in hospitals and across hospitals will now disappear. We expect by the end of next year that all the hospitals, all the clinics, all the CHIPS compounds will all be networked. And that will help a lot in healthcare delivery for us. We've also, ladies and gentlemen, introduced medical drones in the delivery of health services. The drones came from me out of painful personal experience of watching my father die when he was looking for blood. So when I heard about the drone technology and its ability to deliver blood, vaccines, drugs, to remote parts of the country in times of emergency, I made the dash to San Francisco and convinced Zipline to set up in Ghana. They have 6 centers delivering to 2,800 medical facilities, an average of about 100 flights a day from each of the centers. And we are saving lives, and every day we are saving lives with the drones. But what is also very important to note is that all these drone centers are 100% manned by Ghanaians, brilliant young men and women. And our medical drone delivery service in Ghana is now the largest in the whole world. We are the leading medical drone delivery service in the whole world. And it is really very, very good. The pharmaceutical sector, we've just completed the National Electronic Pharmacy Platform, where we have over 2,000 pharmacies on a common platform. And that means when a prescription is given, the whole old problem of where do I find the medicine, is this a genuine medicine, how much it is, and all of that. The National E-Pharmacy Platform allows you to upload your prescription, find out exactly where which pharmacy near you has the drugs, and because we have linked it with the FDA, the Food and Drugs Administration, you know that it is certified, that it is not a fake drug and all of that. So this again, I believe, we are one of the first, if not the first on the continent.
Mr. Vice President.
The National E-Pharmacy Platform. So those are the sort of things that we've been doing in the area of the digital space to help the business environment. And I now want to head on to my vision in terms of what I want to
Mr. Vice President, you should see the cheer and excitement here. But all of us have 2 questions, 2 important questions we want to ask before you wrap it up with your vision. Our resource person, Professor Ernest Ofiabochi, will speak on our behalf. He will walk you through those 2 important questions, and then you have the floor to respond.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic. I must say that when the CEO Network invited the former President and the Vice President, we underestimated the effect of the election year. And so we thought there would be some friendship today, but clearly we've seen it for ourselves. So, Your Excellency,
there's a lot of friendship, but there's truth and honesty.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. 2 questions, 2 quick questions. The former president spoke about expenditure rationalization. And in that regard, among others, he spoke about the size of government. What is your take on the size of government as you potentially come into office? Do you intend to maintain the current status? Go ahead.
I have made my views on this very clear. And I am very much decided that we need to realign government expenditures towards the private sector. My view is that government tries to do too much. You want to buy vehicles, you want to accumulate all the money and go and buy vehicles, for schools and all of that. We want to build a road, government is doing it, we want to build dormitories. And I believe that we should get the private sector involved and take up the burden from government. So many projects properly structured will get the private sector involved. One of the things about the digitalization drive that I have led, which I have learned a lot from, is that if properly structured, the private sector will do it. Most of the things that we have done in the digital space has been through the private sector, whether it's the Ghana card, where you have the upfront loading by the private sector, and then they make a fee, whether it's the same thing with the digital address system, networking of the hospitals, Ghana.gov, all of these things have been spearheaded. So government is not uploading and spending upfront. And I want us to apply this model. My view, as I have stated, is that let us bring down government expenditure between 3 to 5% of GDP in the next 4 years. Reduce government expenditure and replace it by private expenditure. You look at Legon, for example, or Tech. Many of the hostels, if not all the hostels, have been put up by the private sector. It's not government that has put them up. And this is how we should be doing, whether we are talking about classrooms or dormitories or roads. Let's give the private sector the opportunity to build them. Government can rent these from the private sector and doesn't have to upfront spend it. If it's buses, 700 buses we are buying for schools, why do we have to buy it all at the same time? Why doesn't the private sector supply it and we can lease it? And
Your Excellency, I'm sorry, Your Excellency.
I'm thinking that the private sector is really the way that we need to empower so that we bring down government expenditure. And I am very much
Your Excellency, more specifically in the area of the size of government, not overall government expenditure, but the size of government.
Well, the size of government, as I have said, and I've made it clear on February 7th, I said that, for example, I believe that I can run a government with 50 ministers rather than what we are doing today. And I've made that very clear already.
Thank you very much. The last question. The last question is on tax cuts. The former presidential aspirant made it clear that he is all in favor of tax cuts, and I'm sure you can well imagine that business is smiling. What is your position?
Yes,
What is your position?
I want to introduce a new tax system in Ghana. I don't want to tinker with the existing tax system. I want a new tax system. I've studied the tax systems across the world. The most tax competitive country in the world, the last 10 years in a row, is Estonia. So I took a team to Estonia and we studied their tax system. They are working on a flat tax system. So, and I believe that Ghana would benefit from a flat tax system. Makes it very easy, makes it very transparent, and easy to comply, easy to understand. Today, a lot of businesses don't even understand the bills that the GRA brings them. There's a lot of dispute amongst them. If we move to a flat tax system, it will be very, very, very easy for everybody to understand. So next year, God willing, when I am president, by the grace of God, I'm bringing in this new tax system, and I'm going to usher in a tax amnesty. A tax amnesty that will essentially, up to a certain year, wipe out all tax obligations, and we are all going to start afresh on the clean slate. So the tax amnesty is what I'm bringing in next year. I also want to realign our import duty regime. I want to move towards flat taxes in cities on import duties so that there's predictability on our import duties. And I also want to realign our Ghana import regime to what exists with our nearest competitor, the Port of Lomé. And so we are not going to charge import duty that is higher than what is being charged at the Port of Lomé, so that we'll stop the smuggling that is going around through Togo into Ghana. Once we align our import duty not to be higher than that of Togo, we will make sure that that smuggling doesn't take place. Businesses need predictability, and I believe that the tax proposals that I presented, if you look at our import duty regime, for example, and all of this is financed. What I'm saying, it doesn't make any difficulty in finance. As I said, I'm bringing down government expenditure by 3 to 5% of GDP 3% of GDP, it's almost 30 billion Ghana cedis. Now, if you look at our whole tax revenue from import duty, the whole of import duty is 15 billion Ghana cedis. So if you're able to rationalize or reduce government expenditure and replace it with private sector expenditure, you create a lot of fiscal space, and that is where I'm headed.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It's early morning. It's early morning in Canada, so we appreciate the sacrifice and the public service.
No, I didn't want to miss this very, very important occasion. I really wish I was there personally, but I'm sure that is what it takes. We've been able to do this digitally.
Thank you. And I can assure you that the former president has sat through. He's here, as you requested, so he's been a patient audience.
And I hope we will meet on more occasions to let the whole country understand how to.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Enjoy Canada. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for His Excellency Dr. Mahama Bawumia, Vice President of our Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and our able moderator, Professor Ernest Kofi Abochi. And the good news is, this is just the beginning of the economic presidential dialogues. There is more to come. And so shortly we shall be having the CEO Excellence Award, which is going to be celebrating excellence in corporate Ghana. Before that, however, for 5 minutes, we just want a little intervention from this global giant, this Pan-African giant, I beg your pardon, which has been delivering the bold new normal in Africa. Today, they lead digital solutions for Africa's problems. Assurance and the CEO of the Year, Star Assurance Company Limited. Make welcome Watima Bafo Iwa. Congratulations. Oil Marketing Sector CEO Leadership Excellence Awards, Engine Ghana, the CEO Brent Latte. SUV Automotive CEO of the Year, Stubos Limited, the MD, Chris Stubos. Congratulations, Stubos Limited. Mining CEO of the Year, Newmont Ghana Gold Limited, the CEO, David Fortin.